So I'm asked all the time about how I find the motivation to get things done, and my answer is always the same in that I don't. Motivation is super unreliable, and everyone has the same sort of reservoir of willpower that they draw from. So if success was about willpower alone, everybody would be rich and have achieved all their goals, right? So the secret isn't motivation, it's systems. It's designing an environment both internally and externally to minimize friction so that the next right action becomes kind of automatic. So this is the approach I took over the last 12 months to develop an entirely new set of skills, quit my corporate job, build my own online income, and it's the same system I've shared to help dozens of other founders do exactly the same. So in this video, I'm going to share everything I know about focus. We're going to talk about the systems that got me here. It's what works and it's what's going to get you rolling. So let's jump into it. Like I was saying, I've been working with a lot of people in their entrepreneurship journey, and they tend to fall into one of two camps when they're first getting started, right? The first being they're overwhelmed and don't know where to start, right? They open their laptop, they look at a massive project and freeze. They don't know what to do next, right? And a lot of these people, they'll blame motivation or a lack of, willpower or something like that, but it's not, because the desire is there. What it is an overwhelming amount of internal friction keeping them from moving forward, right? The other side of that coin is very similar, but it's the folks that work and work and work and actually get nowhere because of the overwhelming amount of external friction keeping them from making any forward strides, right? I fell into this camp. So a good example of wasted time that I unfortunately succumbed to was I redid my AI assistant probably 24 times, just being distracted and keeping up with the next model, right? I'd be pulled away to watch the freshest YouTube tutorial about how to set up a better version of what it was that I did. And better is subjective. It was only marginally improved. But the real consequence there was I wound up in this graveyard of like half-baked, half-completed projects, and I worked hard. I worked a lot of hours to accomplish very little, okay? So as you can see in both cases, there wasn't a lack of motivation or desire, because in both cases, you want to get the thing done, but you're just being bogged down so much by the different layers of friction. Either you are convincing yourself that you don't know what to do, or you are being overwhelmed by external stimulus. So the solution to that is getting things a little bit more under control. And it's not like productivity hacks or any sort of secret. It's about consistency and building something sustainable, right? There are a lot of different productivity videos, and I encourage you to find what works best for you. For me, I value consistency over intensity, and I want to build something that is sustainable for the rest of my career rather than intense bursts of productivity and then burnout, right? Because I'm sure we've all been there where we are just convinced that hard work is the key, and that is a lie we've all been told from birth. Essentially, it's not, okay? A little bit of effort every single day compounds to an incredible amount and body of work, okay? So the other thing that I wanted to do was make sure that we're preserving who we are and preserving our humanity. So instead of creating an entirely new version of yourself or like deconstructing these habits and things that make you you, I want to instead tweak things that we're already doing to make it easier to transition into, more forward movement. So a good example would be, I used to go to Starbucks like every morning, right after my workout. I would go and get my breakfast and my coffee, and that had a negative impact because I was spending more money than I wanted to, and also I was losing control of my diet because the coffees were more calories than I'd known, right? So I didn't change my breakfast routine. I did my workout and everything, but instead of going to Starbucks, I started making coffee at home, which saved me money. And instead of the crazy amounts of sugar and fun stuff that they put in the coffee there, I took a really delicious protein drink and used that to flavor my coffee instead. So I got my diet under control as well, right? So that's an example of what I'm talking about, tweaking habits to kind of curate the output that we want, and not, deconstructing and starting over from scratch. So like I said in my notes here, true productivity comes from working with your natural rhythms, not against them, right? We want to have everything be fluid. So in that, with control in mind, there are 4 aspects that we are going to need to kind of try and get into a headlock to maximize our outputs, right? Our environment and external friction, our cognition and internal friction, our workflow, and our energy. Okay, so in terms of external friction, we want to make sure that when we sit down to work, our phone is on airplane mode. That is the single easiest fix, right? That on average gets rid of 147 daily interruptions, right? And it adds up an insane amount. Another thing, and this one was news to me because I've got like crippling ADHD. So I always thought that like wearing my headphones and like music without dialogue would help me like lock in. That's actually not true. Even with ADHD, listening to music and different auditory triggers reduces your cognitive ability by 13%, which is massive. I was tricking myself into thinking that helped me lock in, when really it was still something that drew my attention. And even though it wasn't conscious, it was using my brain's processing power in the background. So try and work in silence. And I did this with the curtains because, one, I'm a musician, it's my studio, but it also really helps to eliminate outside stimulus. Like, let's say there's construction or my dog's barking or whatever. Anything you can do to tighten up and eliminate the possibility of external friction, right? Something that also really helped me out is having a dedicated work space. Like, it's super detrimental to bring your laptop out into like the living room with your family, start working there. You can do it, but it's not going to be very productive. Okay. So I have an area where I sit down and work, and that means it kind of triggers my brain into knowing that it's work time. Okay. So that's external friction. Internal friction is just about limiting the amount of processes going on in your brain. Okay. So a big one for me was like the get things done system. Okay. And all that means is as soon as the thought pops up into your mind, you just write it down. You don't have to judge or act on it. Just get it out of your brain and put it down on, I used to use a literal pad and paper, but now I use Notion, which I'll get to in a minute. And what that does is it just keeps it from bouncing around in your brain, and it's not, chirping there in the background, taking up your processes. Okay. Another big part of that is when you write all this stuff down, you're able to get a real objective viewpoint of what it is you have to do. And it makes it a lot easier if you're struggling from a lot of internal friction to just know what the next task is. Which brings me to workflow control, where we want to make sure we're eliminating the context switching tasks. Okay. So on average, it takes about 23 minutes for you to shift focus from one task to another. 23 minutes to go from task A to task C, and then you go task B, another 23 minutes. You can see how this eats into your entire day. So a big advantage of keeping your internal friction and your brain kind of free, like I was saying before, is being objective with what it is you have to do. So that means you can be objective with your prioritization, and you're making decisions based on, hard data rather than your emotion and fake sense of urgency. Okay. So a big part of controlling your workflow is getting a plan the evening before. So at the end of every day, I make sure that I write down my tasks and things, and then I go into the next morning knowing exactly what my first task is, making it very smooth. The last thing we're going to touch on is making sure that you control your energy, right? So planning deep work first thing in the morning is incredibly important to my personal workflow. I'm not sure if you've ever had this happen where you wake up in the middle of the night and your brain is just spaghetti. That's actually something you can take advantage of. I found that if you can like wrangle that spaghetti in and point it at something, you can get a lot done. So what I do is I wake up without an alarm and take that spaghetti and that extra boost in cognition in the morning, and I point it at the most important task on my day, and I plan a deep work block of 90 to 120 minutes very, very first. Then I get up and, work out and continue with the rest of my routine. Okay. So those are the 4 things you want to make sure that you are controlling to eliminate friction. Okay. But it's obviously not enough just to eliminate different layers of friction, right? We need systems and routines, habits that continue us moving forward and drive us towards our goals. Okay. So I've broken that down into 3 sort of focus areas. First being capturing clarity, right? Our brains are super good at coming up with different ideas and creative aspects and solutions to problems, not very good at hanging on to them. Okay. So step 1 is just brain dump and declutter and making sure that your CPU is working optimally. So that comes from decluttering and getting the ideas out of your head onto a system. Okay. So the next very powerful tool is to develop momentum triggers, right? When you develop habits and routines, after a while, it becomes really hard not to do that thing, right? So for example, I wake up, I start my coffee, and then I go to my deep work blocks, right? So the coffee is the trigger there that makes me want to go and start on the task. Okay. Or if it's like working out, right? What's the next task? You put your workout shorts on, that gets you to go onto the, whatever it is. This is incredibly important. Like when X happens, it triggers you to do something else, right? So you want to make sure that the first action is small and something automatic, like I said, making a cup of coffee, and then it puts the rest of the day in perspective and starts the dominoes, right? Also try and make sure that that kicks off like right at the outset of your day. Like you have a habit in the first 90 minutes of you waking up that like pushes you along down this like habit and routine that drives you forward towards where you want to be. Which of course brings me to step 3. You cannot do that without planning your day first. So I personally take 10 to 15 minutes every night to do an internal sort of inventory of my day and if I lined up with my goals, and then plan tomorrow with all of the things I captured on my, clarity capture, the things I wrote down from, the intrusive thoughts or whatever. And then I can prioritize and develop the schedule for tomorrow. I do tend to try and like theme days. Like I don't go from video to sales to fulfillment and that kind of thing. So like, for example, Thursdays are, for videos, and then I go from there. Right. But with all of that written down, I'm not missing anything, and I can ensure that everything is getting done, and I can address those thoughts when I have time for them at the end of the day. Right. Most importantly, with the end of the day thing, I pulled off a little bit of a tangent there, is you're planning your very first task the next morning so that you can wake up and not have to make that decision about what am I going to do today. You've already got it written down for you. Moving on. So as a quick recap, we just essentially want to maximize bandwidth by getting things out of our head into a safe space. In my case, it's in my Notion template, which I'll share with you later. We want to make sure that we are setting up workflow triggers for ourselves to automate how we do things. So like I said, my cup of coffee triggers my 90-minute work. Build these routines for yourself so the first task is pretty easy and it knocks over the rest of the dominoes for the rest of the day. Prioritize tasks based on your energy and schedule your day so that one task fuels the next one, and make sure we're eliminating different external triggers, like turn your phone off, don't listen to music, have the lighting not be distracting, that kind of thing, and set ourselves up so that we can keep this rolling forward. Try tweaking habits that you already have and keep yourself true to who it is that you are, but tweak different habits to maybe achieve more optimal results, right? Like I was saying with my Starbucks habit, change that to something that was less expensive and more in line with my diet, but it's still the same sort of coffee and breakfast sort of routine. With that, I mentioned Notion a couple times. That's what I use to keep myself organized, both personally and professionally. Since you made it to the end of the video, I've got a bit of a present for you in that I put together a dashboard with pretty much everything. It's got your CRM, finance tracker, summary, and most importantly, you have your daily planner. This is where you're going to do your decluttering, your brain dump, and your planning for tomorrow, right? So you're going to review the day, make your goals, and then declutter all of the information here. So I've got a link in the description. You can download that. If any of this was helpful, I've also got more resources down in my 90-day program about how to transition your income online. If you'd like to learn more about how I was able to quit my job and transition into a full-time online income, you can check out this video up here. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next one.